Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Today's lesson is in percents, finding what percent one number is of another. And we have worked the problems now, but now we're going to do the application, applying your skills. And this will be part one, or the dreaded word problems. Well, let's take a look here. It says the Flex make $840 a month. They spend $210 a month for rent. What percent of their income do the Flex spend on rent? Well, okay, so basically what we're saying here is $210 is what percent of $840? $840. Remember, we're working with dollars here. So if we can change the problem into this form, 210 is what percent of 840, well then we know what to do. We just make our fraction, 210 over 840. We reduce it, well we can cut this out, and I think we can divide both of these by 7. Oops. So 7 goes into 21 3 times, and 7 will go into 48 12 times. And we can still reduce this further. 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So we have the fraction 1/4, and now we change that to a percent. Since 4 goes into 100 evenly, I'm going to use the multiply by 100 method. 4 goes into 4 1 time. 4 goes into 100 25 times. So we get 25 over 1, or 25%. So $210 is 25% of $840. Or the Flex spend 25% of their income, of their $840 on rent. Well, good. Let's put up another one here. Let's take this down and put this one up. Put it on this side so I can work over here. Okay, let's see what this problem says. 350 people work at the Shell refinery. 280 of the workers are men. What percent of the workers are men? Well, we want to know 280, or the amount of men, 280, is what percent of 350? So 280 over 350. We know we can cross these zeros out. I think we can divide by 7 and divide by 7. 7 goes into 28 4 times. 7 goes into 35 5 times. So now I have the decimal 4/5. I'm sorry, I have the fraction 4/5. And since 5 goes evenly into 100, you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the multiply by 100 method. 5 goes into 5 1, 5 goes into 120 times. I multiply. 4 times 20 is 80. 1 times 1 is 1, so it's just 80. And since it's percent, put the percent sign. So there are 350 employees at the Shell refinery. 280 of them are men, or 80% of the people that work at the Shell refinery are men. Okay, well now I'm going to put one up and let you work it. Put the DVD on pause. We'll read it together. Then put the DVD on pause, and then you work it and turn it back on again. All right. So this says, last year, Sylvia weighed 160 pounds. She went on a diet and lost 20 pounds. What percent of her weight did she lose? All right, we'll put your video or DVD on pause, work the problem, and turn it back on again. Well, let's take a look at it. She weighed 160 pounds and she lost 20 pounds, pardon me, and we want to know what percent she lost. So we really want to know 20 is what percent of 160? Well, 20 over 160. We know we can cross these out. We're going to reduce this. We'll divide by 2, but divide by 2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 2 goes into 16 8 times. So now I have the fraction 1/8, and I'm going to change it into a percent. I'm not going to use the multiplying by 100 method because 8 doesn't go evenly, although I could, but I'm going to do the division method. So 8 divided into 1.000, we put these zeros there. Put our decimal place here. Okay, 8 can't go into 1, but 8 can go into 10 one time. 1 times 8 is 8, and I subtract and I get 2, and I'll bring down a 0. 8 will go into 22 times. 2 times 8 is 16. I subtract and I get 4, and I'll bring down my 0. 8 will go into 45 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And okay, now the problem is done. So I have changed the fraction 1/8 into the decimal fraction 125 thousandths, and now I have to change this decimal fraction from a decimal to a percent. I'm going from D in the alphabet to P, so I have to move 2 places over, and I get 12.5%. Good. Let's put another problem up for you, and I'll let you work it, and then put the DVD back on. In 2005, a loaf of bread cost $1.28. In a year, the price went up 16 cents. The increase was what percent of the 2005 price? Go ahead and work that. Put the DVD on pause and work that, and then we'll take a look at it. Well, okay. So, in 2005, bread cost $1.28. It went up 16 cents. We want to know 16 is what percent of the original price of $1.28? Well, we'll put 16 over 128, and now we're going to want to reduce that. And I think we can do this by 16s. I think we can divide this by 16 and 16, because I think 16 times 8, I think, is 128. Let's just check that out. 16 times 8. 8 times 6 is 48, and I'm going to carry 4. 8 times 1 is 8, and 4 is 12. So yes, so we can divide by 16. 16 goes into 16 one time. Pardon me, 16 will go into 128 8 times. And I have to change the fraction 1/8 into a percent. And again, I'm going to use the division method. And the last problem we did this, and we found out that it came out to 125, and then we moved the decimal place, and that's what we get. Well, great. So that's this skill set for part 1. You want to set up the problem so that it works out like 16 is what percent of 128. And then you just establish your fraction, make sure you reduce it to lowest terms, and then convert your fraction into your percent, either using the division method or multiplication by 100 method. Excellent. Thank you very much.